Hey everyone, Fertility Journals here. If you're new, welcome. I decided to start this YouTube channel after undergoing 12 mini IVF cycles, which ended up in success with a beautiful, bouncy baby boy. If you're interested in my journey and would like to know how it went, please go ahead and access my playlist in the information bar. It includes a journal of every single IVF cycle. Every once in a while, I do get questions from individuals that watch my videos, and often there's a question that I feel a lot of you might benefit. You may happen to be what we call a silent watcher, which is somebody who is going through infertility, who's probably not a member of the YouTube community, just like me and how I was a few years ago, and wants to really gain and learn. And so I know that we have so many hidden watchers out there and silent watchers, for lack of a better word, out there. And so the hope is that you'll be able to gain some information from these conversations. Today's journal is actually going to be about a question I received a few months back, which I never really answered, which is about meeting my husband late and how that all worked out when it comes to infertility. And if you are interested in how that happened for me, stay tuned. For me personally, guys, my journey started off as an immigrant. So I am actually an immigrant, so not even first generation. My parents, my entire family is in Africa. And in the immigrant community, coming to the United States, it's all about pursuing your dreams, making a better life. And in many ways, it allowed me to escape that pressure to get married immediately after high school, which is what a lot of my friends did, and then others, after college. And so I think part of it also with immigrating is trying to transition into the new country if you love it, which was the case for me. And that was really my focus. Now, the difference though is I relate to many of you who at the same time as I was trying to transition into my career, my new normal, I was dating, I was getting to know people, but it just never worked out. And so I really feel you, particularly if you're going through age-related infertility, because what that means is that you are probably waiting for the right person or are waiting for the right person, and the clock is ticking and there's so much pressure. And I think this is really the gist of this question. And so that's just a little bit about my background and what led me to this place. The other piece of the puzzle that I'll share that really led me, I believe, to my age-related infertility was this whole pressure from traditional values. It's not necessarily that my parents, I don't come from a culture like, for example, the Asian cultures where there's a lot of pressure to be able to get married at a certain age. My culture doesn't do arranged marriages, at least not my tribe. There are some tribes that do. They do like the basic introductions, this person might be a good person, but there wasn't really any set structure in my tribe or lineage that would have really made that transition at the ideal time. Trust me, if you are in a culture that does that, there's a reason they do that. In retrospect, looking back, there is a reason that they do that. But I also do understand that there's a lot of pressure when it comes to arranged marriages, so I get it. But either way, there wasn't necessarily, that much pressure. But I think internally, because I do come from parents that, believed in Trish Ferris, are together, are married. Everybody around me were married. There's a strong, I think, pressure in the Black community because we're so family oriented in the Black community, a lot of conservative values in our communities. There's a strong sense of family. Regardless of social class. I mean, you go to my country and in every household there is a mom and a dad all strategizing, working hard for the future of their children. It's just was my background in Africa. We have strong family ties. And so for me, I think it was that pressure of knowing where I'm from and my lineage that I think led to me feeling that I just, this is the path that I needed to go. Now, what was interesting was that as I was talking to my OB, and my OB was absolutely amazing. She was, I tell you guys this joke all the time. When she said that I had till 43, I remember I asked her, I said, well, do I have 43 like the day I'm 42 and I turn 43 the next day? Or do I have 43 meaning last day I'm 43, about to turn 44, because there's a huge difference in terms of how much time I have. And she laughed. And we crack up to this day because I got my good egg at the age of 43. So really my OB is the one that predicted everything, for lack of a better word. I digress. But you guys get the gist of the conversation. I think a lot of it was just facing that reality and trying to invent this person. What was I going to do? And so what a lot of people may not know about my personal background before Ricky was that I had actually made the decision to be a single mom by choice. So I was in the works of doing that because I really knew that I wanted my own biological child. So those are some of the things that you're gonna face, and maybe some of you are facing, right? I think when it comes to traditional values and what's important to you, for me, having my own genetic child was very, very important. Even if I was not with the person that I was supposed to be. Because in my mind, I knew you can find the right person probably until you're 70. But you can't have your own biological children at that age when you find them. You just never know when you're gonna find them. So but what was funny is I did ask my father for permission. I did, in a way. I consulted, and trust me, when you get older, they're like, go for it. But that was really what I was gonna do. I was either gonna find an ex of mine who also wanted to have children, but didn't want the commitment, or I was going to see if I could ask some good friends. It was really at the initial stages that that happened for me. And so what ended up then happening was, of course, at the same time as I did this, I scheduled an appointment with my, with my reproductive endocrinologist to be able to discuss, assess my fertility. And as God would have it, as the universe would have it, I was putting myself out there. I was on these dating apps. At the time, we had those traditional dating apps where you wrote about yourself. So there wasn't any swiping or anything like the new generation. People would write about themselves. And I was actively on those. And I remember that's how I met Ricky, to make a long story short. And it's interesting because when you meet the person that's meant for you, particularly if you're within the same age range, Nikki is 3 years older than myself, had no children also, we were ready. So 3 months into dating and seeing each other, he proposed, and I was an engaged woman, and I had my, as you know, you schedule these RE appointments, they're almost like a year out. So then I just asked him, I said, hey, it doesn't hurt. We both knew we would want children. Do you want to go for the appointment with me? And I said, it doesn't hurt, because part of going through the appointment is also assessing fertility. I was like, yeah, sure, I'd like to know if my little guys can swim. And he made a joke out of it. And that's really part of the reason why I love him so much, and we are such a good match. So we ended up going to that appointment, and then I realized that the problem was me, and not a problem. My diagnosis was age-related infertility, and the rest is history. So folks, that's a little bit about my journey in a nutshell of meeting my husband late. So I hope that was helpful. I know that for many of you, you are in that predicament, and I wish you the best as you process what to do. My only advice for you would be, if you are getting there, you have traditional values, and you are really, that you're pressed for time, is to really ask yourself this question. Do you want your own genetic children? And if there's any part of you that does, and you have age-related infertility, and for that reason, it's really probably impossible to freeze your eggs, and the chances are pretty low, then I think that it's best for you to think about being a single parent by choice, so that you can at least have your own genetic children and then continue your search for the partner in life. There's no harm with that. There's just something about seeing your eyes in someone else, and that's what I see in Baba every day. He is my heart, my soul. I was open to adoption. I was open to everything else if I had my own genetic child, my own blood in the veins of this human, my eyes, and he does have my eyes, guys, he does. And so I'm saying this from a point of privilege, and I know it's not for everybody, and there's so many people in this community that helped me get there. So I understand if your desire is to have your own genetic child, do it. Do it. You will not regret it. Now, if you have ultra traditional values and you want to wait, reproductivity has evolved. You can always go into donor egg and use a donated egg from altruistic women out there who are donating eggs to be able to help women who have infertility. Lots of people have used donor eggs, and you will love the child. And what that means is that you can continue to date with no pressure, knowing that you will go with a donor egg when you meet your husband later in life, and that's perfectly, and the child will be your husband's, particularly if your partner does not end up having age-related infertility. If you happen to be in a situation where your partner also has problems, then you can consider embryo donation. And in my channel, I have I think the video that talks about doctors you should know. There is a doctor, Dr. Keenan in Tennessee, who does embryo donation. He's absolutely wonderful. It is the excess embryos from couples who have built their families but want to give a chance of life. And so that could be a gift for you and your husband if you happen to meet later in life. A woman can carry a pregnancy until the age of 50. So, and I've seen it. In fact, one of the YouTubers I absolutely admire, Uniquely Ursi, actually, as of today, as I journal this video, she's going to be delivering through C-section her wonderful, beautiful baby girl at the age of 50, and that is her first child. And then everybody knows the Oprah of infertility, Simply Tanika, also became a mom in her 50s as well. So there are plenty of motivations out there. It's really just what is most important for you. All right, guys, so hopefully this video was helpful for you. So what are your thoughts? Where are you in life as a woman? Let's empower each other. What do you think? What if you're in that situation, what choice do you think that you can make? What are you open to? What are you thinking? I'd love to hear from you. But I hope that this little snippet of my life has been useful as well. Thank you so much for watching. Until my next video, bye.